Hi everybody, welcome to another edition of Walking with Wyatt. I'm voice of the Wildcats, Wyatt Thompson. This young man to my left, Jake Clifton, a standout sophomore linebacker from Owasso, Oklahoma. Good to have you with us today, buddy.
Thanks for having me.
Let's walk and talk a little bit. Owasso, Oklahoma, let's start with that. What do we need to know about Owasso, Oklahoma? You were telling me before we rolled here that there's some pretty good athletes coming out of there.
Yep, continually. So we got some people like Cole Adams.
Yep.
He's a wide receiver. He's at Alabama right now. So he's going to be a true freshman there.
Wow.
Florida, we got Chris McClellan. Older guys like Josh Proctor. He's at Ohio State, going to be a senior this year. And Josh Jacobs' little brother, Isaiah Jacobs. He's at UAB right now, and he's going to do some things there.
What was the first year like for you at Kansas State? I'm just curious because you played in, I think, 11 games. You had a pretty decent role. That doesn't always necessarily happen in one's first year.
Yeah, so realistically, I'm the glass is half.
Okay.
It's not half full, it's not half empty. The glass is half, so I was really coming in with the mindset of, let me do my 1/11th and get on special teams somehow, help some of the guys out, like Austin Moore, Daniel Green, so they can get breathers while they're doing their thing on defense, right? And so I came with that mindset and worked hard every day and got to do my 1/11th on special teams, which translated over to let me help out the team in any way I could.
What is it like now that you've been through it? How much easier is the wrong term, but how much more easy is it, I guess I'll say, for you going through this a second time? From a comfortable standpoint, a confidence standpoint.
Yeah, so last year, in meetings, I'm sitting by Nick Allen, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know what the answer to the question is half the time, and he's helping me out, giving me tips and tricks while coach throws the quick question at me. So this year, I'm doing that for other people and just being confident in myself to hit fits faster and stuff like that in practice.
When you are recruited and you end up at a Power 5, obviously you're a good player. When did you realize that you could play at this kind of level?
So it was junior year. I got a phone call from Air Force for my first offer. I was thrown off guard and I had these guys texting me. I was like, this is just Twitter,
Right.
People just texting you for random and text everybody in the country. But he gave me a call and offered me a Florida scholarship. And that was the first time I was like, this is real. I can actually go to school and play somewhere. So.
Okay, so that first year, we've talked a little bit about your experience, but not at the end of the experience, where you win a Big 12 championship and you beat a really good TCU team. Can you describe what that meant to you and that day and what it was like?
Yeah, it was surreal. So I was actually in on the 4th down stop, and there's 2 packages in, and I was on one of them, not in the other. And so we were huddled up, and we actually got to the package where I was in, and like Austin was talking about earlier, the play and the game went by fast. So the play happened about 2 seconds for me, and I couldn't fathom it at the moment. But after sitting on the bench in the locker room and seeing everybody's reactions, it changed my life.
Well, that's where I was going to go next. Can you even begin to describe that kind of a locker room? You guys have had some good locker rooms, I'm sure.
We have.
Yeah.
It was the first time I saw Coach Drew dance.
Really?
Yep, was that locker room. So he busted out a few moves. KT, he busted a handstand, I think. So the energy was just...
KT did a handstand?
KT did a handstand. One
memorable.
One hand pop. Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
So what's your goal for this year? And for you personally, I know you want to win a lot of games and maybe repeat and all of that, but for you personally, what would you say?
Get my name known, being that 1/11th guy last year, I still want to do the same thing, but letting people know who I am and what I can do for this program. Very cool.
Keep up the great work, my man. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
That is Jake Clifton, and that's another edition of Walking with Wyatt. Thanks for joining us. We appreciate it.